We may have possibly found the sweet spot for dress watches. Here's how this humble square piece of elegance and class managed to hit the Goldilocks range of budget micros. Last year, or well, 2 years ago by now, Cartier overtook Omega when it comes to market share. And this is evident with a certain number followed by a ton of zeros behind it in Swiss francs or dollars in their revenue. Now, this goes to show that there's a lot of men out there that are looking for formal or dressy watches in the form of the Tank or Cartier Santos or anything that's square or rectangular for that matter. This also goes to show that I can meander long enough for my monkey to go behind you and steal your loot without you knowing, and at the same time, for micro brands to capitalize in this kind of trend. And this is what Söner, with their new nostalgia collection, is trying to do, and at the same time, offer you something that you cannot see from other micro brands. From the beginning, it has been the mission statement of the brand to defy norms. You don't have to be the sharpest cutlass in the deck to know that most watches are round. Yes, you can call it a gimmick, but it still rings true as it's, well, kinda defying the conventions indeed. I've reviewed their initial offerings before the legacy, and as much as it does stand out from above your wrist, it, well, rather stands too tall for my liking. Here, it's much thinner and a bit more delicate with the different stylistic choices taken by the Scandinavian company. Of course, they still offer their previous collection, and as far as we know, they will only offer rectangular watches. Now, if that promise came from this watch pirate, you all would likely suspect that I'm saying it to impress or posture boastfully, then flip flop the very next watch review. But so far, Söner has stuck to its guns, and 4 collections later, they're still offering desirable cornered watches. Speaking of offerings, when you're purchasing a Söner, you have the option to choose between long and short straps. This ensures that your hardware will have the best possible fit for your wrist shape and size. It also helps that it has a curved case back, making for a more comfortable wearing experience. This perforated leather strap makes for a decent combo with this nostalgia style. There are other strap options such as this distressed leather strap that also has a quick release spring bar setup. You may have noticed that Söner prefers its straps to be that of the non-tapering kind, so when you toss this on the rectangular case, it wears a little bit imposing. Be this as it may, there is still a natural compactness to it because of the narrow horizontal impression. This is further emphasized by a small crown. Even though it's diminutive in form, it's still accessible enough to be set. Ideally, you need to set this every once in a while as there's no seconds hand nor date complication to worry about. Much of the fiddling will actually come from the strap side to dress this piece up or down. I'm not saying that it's a strap monster, but with so little play available, you'll be looking for it elsewhere. There's ample dials to choose from, with models being named after famous cities around the world. There was a time when you needed to look long and hard around the world of microbrands to find some square watch options. Nowadays, there's quite a bit of good designs to choose from, and I think this is where the nostalgia falls in the sweet spot. There are some with a bit more steel sculpted into them, and then there are others that offer a little bit more personality. This Söner offers just enough to land in the perfect middle ground between these two polar points. Case study 1, this is much thinner than this automatic de Guzman tank, which is a description that's a bit more appropriate than one might like. The Art Deco theme is strong between these two, but the DG013 feels a bit raw and unrefined with its larger proportions. On the nostalgia side, the corner step bezel is where all the Art Deco-ness is more evident. It's also a lot more square than the Guzman's rectangle. For your consideration, the nostalgia is more expensive than the DG013. Against the Versa from Vario, the price proposition almost doubles compared to Söner's offering. Here, from this angle, it's also straight cuts versus curves. It's clear the nostalgia is a much slimmer and contoured watch. We can say that this Vario is the closest you can get to a Cartier-looking piece, but with the spirit of a Reverso with this second dial concealed from the back. This explains the price point as you're practically paying for two watches. So the price point is literally the sweet spot for the nostalgia while offering the wearability that's harder to pull off from the other two I showed. Before the next segment, ask yourself, what have I done lately to ensure our civilization continues to exist? Why not subscribe and comment in this video and ask no more? Follow the lead of these visionary commenters like Official Samuels, who's poetically consulting his wife about a new Cartier, a cautionary tale for sure. Nizar Muir praises the nostalgia and puts his money where his comment is by ordering a gold-toned model, and Robert Littlehawk questions the quality of the strap. This strap provided to us is thankfully easy to replace with its quick-release spring bars. I'm actually okay with this strap, but I'm sure some playability is available here. With a lighter strap, the contrast makes for a highlight of a dial. This is also just a few bucks to get in Amazon, so you're not breaking the bank either. Also, with less padding, it's considerably thinner on keeping with the case profile. Next, I tried on an artem strap to provide a little texture to the watch. It's a decent combo, but I'm not impressed. It did provide that texture that I'm looking for, but I couldn't get away from that jarring ruggedness against this dressy personality of the case. So I'm not even gonna try it on my wrist. Next, let's install this 5-link bracelet. If this looks familiar, congratulations! You don't have the memory of an Atlantic amoeba. This is from the De Guzman DG013, and I think this is a fantastic combination for the nostalgia. Just look at that amazing polished surface. It's voluptuous, it's bold, it hits the sweet spot, again, in a very different way. Now let's take a closer look on this dress watch. There's really very little to see aside from the attractive bezel. The dial is simple but vibrant, and the sides are polished as can be, with just the crown signature breaking the character. Speaking of the character, the strap is a character unto itself. It has this distressed look with a straight and thick profile. There's also another strap provided for us, but I don't see it in the marketing materials, so this is likely to show the swappability and how it looks on longer straps and larger wrists. Now back to the provided strap, the buckle is rather simple and undecorated. The straps available on the side are branded not just on the back, but also on the top part. The back part of the watch is also minimally inscribed, a good choice in my opinion. This leaves us with more room and time to admire the case. This case is not just shiny, it's also coated to be hardened for 800 Vickers. I love this distortion of the scratch-resistant sapphire crystal as well. Very, very desirable. Söner needs to sell these features more because it really works well with the brand's principle of longevity for generations to come. The curves and shapes are really well sculpted, and those who like subtle styling of the piece will also love these features. The sunburst finish of the dial works very well with this very deep salmon color. I actually mistook it as red from the production images, and now here I'm actually gazing at an orange tone. On its surface, these indexes are all simple yet used effectively. It's very clean and lively with its swinging moods whenever light passes over it. The Dauphine hands are also very sharp, so sharp that you can even see the movement advance in a satisfying tick. This is a product of the low-consumption Swiss caliber inside that touts an impressive 11-year lifespan. My decaying brain couldn't comprehend it. Why 11? Why not 10 to make it a nice even number? Did they literally test this for 11 years? How does it taste with blended whiskey? So many questions. Whatever it may be, I see a lot of improvements from this latest version. The branding is a bit more reserved and refined now compared to the oversized impression from the previous collection, the Legacy. To the wider audience, the biggest draw would be its amazing versatility on the formal and office scene. After all, self-respecting watch pirates would at least have more than 2 office wear at any given week. Unless, of course, you're going for that homeless look. No matter what it may be, the nostalgia can keep up with your desk adventures. Defying norms and funky mission statements aside, this timepiece lands as one of the most versatile rectangular watches in the ocean of microbrands, a sweet spot to a small watch shape category that you can enjoy. And that is the Söner nostalgia, and This is one of those micro brands that rarely hits the sweet spot when it comes to design, to function, and pricing as well. It may seem like we're trying to say that this is the perfect watch every few seconds, but the design speaks for itself. You know, it's a desirable sweet spot between the rectangle and square. It also has that very nice sweet spot when it comes to thickness and the pricing. Come on, you cannot beat that pricing, and they actually hit the nail in their target. Their target really is to offer budget-friendly watches for the dressy occasion, and I think there's a big market for that. A lot of people are looking for really good square watches. There was a time that we couldn't find any micro brands that had this kind of profile. It's all mostly round and tool watches, and it's a refreshing take. Another option for us to go to when it comes to dress watches. Again, that's the Söner nostalgia. I'm sorry it took a while. This is supposed to be here 3 months ago in the holiday season, but then the package got held up in Holland for some reason. I don't know. But nevertheless, that's the Söner nostalgia. Comment down below. Let me know what you think. And let me see what other options you're willing to take other than the Söner. I think you're going to have a hard time finding an alternative against the Söner nostalgia. Well, again, the nostalgia is also the alternative already in the first place, but that's how it goes. Söner nostalgia, and if you want to see more micro brands, just click on the link here on the top corner. I always forget reminding you of that, but click anyway, okay? Click Söner nostalgia. And that is the Söner nostalgia, and this is one of the rare micro brands that actually hits the sweet